Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 54 of Direwolf20's Let's Play. You can see me jumping straight into my Nexus world here because I want to get started building some of the cool stuff that I want to do in the Nexus. As you guys have heard me say before, the Nexus is basically going to be a world that'll be the kind of like the central station or the central hub of all my future travel plans. So you can see me jumping straight down here. I'm going to hop over my laser for a minute. So what are the immediate plans for right now? Well, first off, we're probably going to want to set up some kind of laser system here so that when I walk across it, it will, about a second later, turn off all my lights and close the door here. That'll be a good thing. But I do need to figure out how to get those enemies not to spawn down here. As you saw me try last episode, I put some half blocks down, and it didn't exactly work the way I wanted it to. So we'll have to kind of figure that out. So I'll mess around for a little bit, and then come back, and we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, I have a few ideas here about how I want to secure that little room here. What I figure I need is about 36, if my math is correct, of these nifty little rubies. Cool. There we go. 36 of them. Good amount of redstone required for that, obviously, as you just saw, but not a big deal. Now, those rubies are going to be used in about a moment to do some cool stuff. But first off, what I want to do is get myself some red lasers to go with those rubies. I'm going to need 13 of them. So let's do this. 13 lasers. Now, instead of going with the traditional white lens, I'm going to go with a red lens. Okay, a red lens will damage enemies and destroy blocks. Now, the more durable the block, the more power you need to apply to the lens to break it. And through my testing, I've determined that looks like level 4 is probably going to be about where I want to, rest at. So, but before I do that, I'm also going to need one more component here. I'm going to need some glowstone dust and convert that into some glowstone blocks. Cool. And I'm going to only need about 13 of them as well, so you can go back in here. We'll leave glowstone in here. That sounds like a good spot, right? Okay. So, let's get crafting with it. So we're going to do a red lens, okay? And we're going to give it a power level of about +4, okay? Because remember, rubies give it a power level of +2 each, okay? +2. 2 of them there gives it a +4, and then glowstone increases the distance that the red lens laser will travel. So instead of having only a range of 10 blocks by default, that's the range of a laser, we're giving it a range of +10, which is a range of 20. And I can pull down all these cool things. Now, I don't believe they stack, which is not going to be cool for me in about a minute, but I think I have a pretty clean inventory for the first time ever, so I should be all right. So let's see, that's 8. I guess I need 2 more, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Just double checking. And, I thought I had more rubies than I needed. No, I guess not. I miscounted. I need 3 more. So, no biggie. Easy enough to make 3 more of those. I'll make a few more just to be extra safe. Cool. And then this redstone can go and hang out in here for a little bit. Not a problem. So off into the Nexus we go. Okay. And let's get this guy set up. I'll meet you guys downstairs in a moment. Alright, so you guys remember last time I came down here, I found a bunch of enemies. And the only reason I didn't this time is because the lights were actually on before I got down here. So what I'm going to do is replace all these blocks right here with smooth stone. Oh, it looks like I just knocked off an important block somewhere. That's alright, I'll just have to work around it. I'll get those redstone lights hooked back up in a second. Off camera right now. Alright, so I just thought of a potential problem here with this wiring running the way it is. I might need to change this up, but we'll see what happens. If I put down a piece of stone here, are you going to connect to that guy, Mr. Wire, or do you have to actually be touching it? That's the question. But we'll find out right now when I get out my drill, which is probably in my white bag. Somewhere. There it is. And we're going to drill into this block, and I'm going to stand out of the way just in case, and put the red lens on the front there. See, yeah. Alright, so red lens is working. Cool. Now watch what happens when an entity walks into the red lens laser. Oh, it hurts. Alright, so the range of +10 is what allows it to reach the other side, and because I didn't go, it's actually power level 5 that I could have gone up to, but that would have required using a diamond, so I didn't feel like doing that. 4 is enough, but 6 would burn up the marble back here, which is what I did not want to see happen. So yeah, this redstone here is probably activating this guy, is he? Yeah, he is. It's this one right here that's causing the problem. Right. So, give me a minute. I might need to think out a different solution to how I'm going to wire this room just a little bit. I'm probably going to need some more redstone wiring. I'll be back when I've got it. Alright, that's enough red alloy ingots for now. Let's do this. Craft up a good amount of those things. Cool, that should work. And I also, if you notice, grabbed a NOT gate to bring with me. Alright, so all I'm going to be doing off camera for about a second or two here is moving all this cabling a little bit. Just getting it out of the way. And what I'm going to probably wind up having to do with it... Oh look, I don't have any inventory. Nice. Much better. What I'm probably going to wind up having to do with it is something like this. Get it off of there. Just run it further back. So that basically, I want to be able to run a wire along here. So I'm thinking and hoping that if a wire is here, it won't interfere with the one running here. And I hope that's the case. We'll find out now, I guess, right? Should have some wood on me somewhere, I hope. Or a lever or something. A button will work. Let's try it like this. Yep, see? That won't interfere. Good. So now what I can do is run my wiring up here. Okay, cool. Straight over to here. Requires a little bit of extra wiring, but that'll save me the trouble of these things interfering with each other. Awesome. So I'm going to do the rest of that off camera right now. There we go. Everything seems to be running a lot smoother now. Shouldn't have any problems with those wires overlapping. Now let's build out the system the way we want it to work. So I'm just going to dig over to this side of the wall. Okay. And we've got this cool little toggle latch thing going on, right? Okay. So, cover this up. Awesome. Now what I'm going to do is get my stones and just put a red laser all along here. And hopefully I counted correctly, and there's about, I don't know, 13 of them or so. We'll find out. So for the next few seconds, why won't you drill? Because I don't have a ruby on my inventory. I mentioned that you need to have the rubies in your inventory before you'll be allowed to drill into blocks, right? I hope I mentioned that. Because it uses a ruby. It like puts one in there. So I had 19, now I have 18. Put a red laser there, good. I had 18, now I have 17, dun da da. Now 16. So it uses a ruby every time you drill into a block like that. Important to note. I'll be back when I'm done. Alright, laser security system in progress. Nice. Alright, now what I want to do is dig through here and get through and figure out exactly how I want to power this whole thing. I'm probably going to want to just run some red wiring like this. If I put my NOT gate down and my red wire is ready to go, I'll just put it like this. So there's a NOT gate there, and we'll run our lasers like so. This is actually going to be pretty easy. I think I want to run it up here like that, maybe. That'll be a little better, but not fall into a hole behind me. And if I'm right about this, I should be done like right now. Because all I got to do is jump through here, put down some marble. I thought I had more than that, but I think I put it in my bag. Inventory problems as usual, right guys? Cool. Now, if everything's wired up properly, these lasers should go on the moment I turn off my lights. You ready? Let's see what happens. Ta-da! They went on, but I turned my lights on again because I'm a noob. Alright, so let's try that off. Lights off. Ooh, all the lasers are on. Look at that. Little laser defense grid system here. Believe me, that would hurt to walk into. And once I turn on the lights, I'm going to walk into the room right now, it should happen instantly. Boom. Like, so if I'm running full speed, I won't take a lick of damage. Perfect. Awesome. Alright, I think I want to bring down 2 more pulse formers with me, so let's get that recipe going. Something like this here. One of you and you. 2 pulse formers, please. That should be good. Alright, and then I have plenty of red alloy wiring on me. That's good. And I want to get a new lens, so let's run over here. I think I had some blaze something or other on me, but I don't, I guess. So I'm going to craft one real quick. Nice and simple. Piece of glass. You know what? I think I need to make this powder, don't I? And glass will get me the invisible white lens. Cool. Alright, back to the Nexus. Alright, so what I want to do here now is inside this wall, I'm going to place down, do I want it here or here is really the question. Let's try it here and see how it goes. So right here to here. Sorry guys, I need to break in for a second just to figure stuff out. Okay, and into this wall as well. So what I'll probably want to have is a lever or a torch or something. That'll do. And drill into this face and tell it that the white lens invisible goes on the front there. It's on, take my word for it. And this guy here will be a sensor. Cool. So he should now be emitting a redstone signal. Perfect. And when I walk through it, the redstone signal should go off. Just like on the other side, right? Cool. Alright. I will have to think for a minute. Yeah, what I want to do is come over here now and actually change this. The toggle latch should not be really running off of a steady signal. And because I want to toggle it now for real, I'm going to go over here and place down my pulse former. So let's do that real quick. If I break this and put down the pulse former, now it's going to actually pulse the way it should. So instead of having the signal stay on to my toggle latch, what I'm going to wind up having is when the redstone signal gets broken, here I'll break it with a item or something. See how it pulsed real quick? Like barely even noticeable? Okay, so that's what the pulse former is going to do for me here. Now I can run another wire straight up into this line that gets pulse formed, so this thing being on steady won't be a problem for us. I could have also done this with a couple of NOT gates too, I guess, so that it only, you know, activated the signal as I walked through instead of kind of the reverse. Either way, doesn't matter. Now I could spend some time running a wireless redstone signal from one side of the room to the other, but I went back to the overworld and pulled out a wireless receiver and transmitter from the chest that I had. So I should be able to do something along these lines. Let's see, if I put this guy receiver right like that, and let's go with frequency, I don't know, 22? I don't know, why not? And we'll call this Nexus lights off. Set name, good. So frequency 22, chosen at random, should now pulse on that. So if I come over here, and again I want to use the pulse former, so let's do it like this. Transmitter, frequency 22, pulse former, everything should work properly. So that now when I, you know, that's good, cool. Close the doors and turn off the lights, and when I kind of do that, it should do the same thing again, right? Yep, there we go. Lights are off. So what should happen now is I walk through the portal. Boom. Now remember, the lights were on and the door was open, but by me walking through the portal, it should have triggered the lights to go off and the door to close, which should be happening now, because remember, the world unloads when I leave it. So technically, the lights will stay on, the the door will stay open, but by the time I get down there, by activating this like little elevator system, it should all be off. And I'm wrong about that for some reason. So let me test it a little bit off camera. I might need a little bit of a delay or something. I'll figure it out. Alright, not working the way I expected, so I'm going to go ahead and use NOT gates instead of pulse formers. So this should kind of do the same thing. If I put a NOT gate here, okay, see how it's not activating? Now when I step through, it's going to trigger it as soon as I get through it. So instead of like a quick pulse, you know, it works the same way, but it's, instead of when I leave the beam, the infrared beam, it activating, as soon as I step into it, it activates. See? Where before it was when I left it, it activated. So let's go switch out this thing. Instead of using a pulse former here, we're going to use a NOT gate. Okay, so now what should happen is as soon as I step into this beam, and I'm going to do it slowly, it's going to turn everything off, and then I'm going to travel through. Okay, so I'm guessing it was like too quick of a travel thing for me. Or I wasn't even like leaving the beam, I guess. Yeah, maybe the world was unloading before my character left the beam. Something along those lines. So now when I jump through here, dun 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 dun. By now it should have been enough time for all the lights to go off. The you know, whatchamacallits to happen, and then the red laser beam is kind of acting as a security grid. Cool. Look at that. Nice. So cover that up, and then I can walk into the room, and it's safe because all the lasers go off as soon as I cross that beam. The portal room opens up, and then as soon as I leave the room, and I'll cover this up before I do it. Oh, and I need my cover too. So as soon as I step through here, it should have turned off all the lasers and everything. Or turned them on, I guess, and turned off the lights. You know what I mean. So let's go see if I'm right about that. One more time. Before I was kind of stepping slowly. This time I kind of ran right through. But it should have worked. Cross your fingers. Hooray! The security system is enabled. Look at that. Awesome. I love it. Alright, now that everything's kind of working the way I want it to, I'm going to take my overworld linking book out of my receptacle here. I'm going to pick up this receptacle. Now, I've noticed that it seems like the receptacle books like that don't actually, you know, get picked up again. So I'm going to need some more crystals, and I think they're all back at my overworld base, aren't they? I didn't bring any with me. Yeah. Probably should have thought through breaking that before I did it, but that's alright. I've got my overworld linking books. I'm good to go. I'm just going to head back and get the crystals, and then I'll come back to find this book on the floor here, as long as I drop it right about here. Should be good? Yeah. And just to prevent problems, I've turned off my lever on this thing so I don't walk into it by mistake. But alright, let's craft up that receptacle again. So receptacle is just around like that. Cool. Now the cool thing about this is you usually don't have to place the book receptacle directly on the frame of the crystal portal that you're talking about. So if I wanted to, I should be able to do something like this. Maybe even here and then here. Now if I place my overworld linking book in there, it should... Alright, it didn't. I haven't exactly figured out the way this works. Like, I've seen ways where it works, and then other ways where I'm like, why aren't you working? You should work. And you're not. So I'm going to have to craft another one of those, because the receptacle portal thingy doesn't follow through and behave itself. Let's see if I place it there. Will you behave there? If not, I give up, and I'm just going to put it somewhere a little less tricky. Nope, still not working. So yeah, you should be able to do something like that. I don't know what I do wrong there. I'm sure XCOM can tell me. But, yeah. You should be able to draw a line of crystals like that and then hook up the receptacle. But anyway, I'm just going to put it on this thingy here. How's that sound? Perfect, right? Book goes in there. Now we're talking. Cool. Okay, so On this side of the wall, I'm going to have like a computer-controlled mechanism area where I can request different books to get placed in the receptacle. Like I mentioned in the past, this receptacle can work with redstone pneumatic tubing. So let's go get some redstone pneumatic tubes. Do I have any in my alchemy bag? Probably not. I'm going to have to bounce around between dimensions to get all the items I need, of course, because, you know, that's the side effect of dimensional travel. So I'll have to try and do my best to have all the items in my inventory ahead of time. Yeah, I'm doomed. Alright, I'll be back once I have all the items I need. Alright guys, so what I'm crafting up next is a bunch of transposers, believe it or not. Pretty simple redstone system. Transposer, 5 of you, please. There we go. Cool. And I should set this guy back to... There we go. Help resupply. Alright, so I've got some pneumatic tubes. I think I even have some in this bag as well. Another half stack or so. Good. Plenty of tubes. Probably going to need... I'm good there. Cool. For now, I think we're in good shape. So let's head over to the Nexus and start playing around with what's going to be our book transport system. Alright, here's what I've come up with so far. Now, if anybody's seen Way of Flowing Time, that's a YouTuber. He's a pretty good guy. He does some really cool builds with Mistcraft and Red Power 2. He has a similar design. Mine's going to be a little different from his, but if you're interested in a really cool and even more impressive design, mine's going to be pretty basic. His is way more complicated, but also, therefore, way more cool. So if you want to check out Way of Flowing Time, he has a really cool video about some Nexus builds that he's done as well. But here's the gist of how mine's going to work. I'm going to grab my Philosopher's Stone here. Just get a few sticks. Let's say about as many as that. And I'm going to get, let's say, 4 link book stands to get started. Now, the interesting thing about a link book stand is it's dedicated for holding books, so books are the only things that can fit in it, and it's only got 1 inventory slot. So that's going to be really good with our Red Power pneumatic tube system. Basically, the way I want this to work is, let's do this. If I connect this guy up here, we should be able to dig around and have fun. If I grab my... should have my sonic screwdriver on me, by the way. There we go. And my transposers. So set up my transposer like this, right? Let's say, there we go. So he will now be able to pull the book out of the receptacle and send it along its way to a book stand. So I'm probably going to want to make sure I have enough lighting in here, but we'll see. I haven't decided exactly where I want to have all my book stands be. They should kind of be in a straight line. So I'm thinking maybe back off in that direction. Might be a good idea. For now, that's enough. Maybe clear out up here, just so I have room for my torches. Okay, so we'll run our things like this. Now my link book stands, I'm probably going to have somewhere along this line. Let me think this out for just a minute. Alright, yeah, I know what I want to do now. So I'll basically have my link book stands here, 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 and here, let's say. And this is just the initial layout of the Nexus. And then I'm going to have pneumatic tubes going like this across the top of my link book stands. And in front of them, I'm going to have some transposers. Each one gets its own transposer, I'm thinking. That should probably work, right? Do I want them here or here? Might want the transposers here. Like that, maybe? Might not be a bad idea. So if I do that, then I can move this stuff. This is me when I don't have my plan completely in place before I start building. I have a rough idea of what I want to do, but it's not perfect yet. Alright, that should do. Or do I want them underneath? Ooh, that might even be cooler. Yeah, I think we're good for here. Yeah, this will be fine. Alright, so then along the back here of my transposers, I'm going to have basically this, leading over to my overworld linking book, or what's going to be my receptacle right there. Okay, so what this should do now is the transposer will pulse and send the item out in this direction. Ta-da! and drop it off in the nearest book receptacle, which should be this one if I'm right. Let's get a few levers to test with. Cool. So lever right here and lever right here, just for testing. So one. So now it shut off the portal. Okay. And the book goes in here, overworld. Now when this guy gets a pulse of redstone signal, the book's going to head out and go right back into the receptacle. Ta-da! How cool is that? Awesome. And the portal goes off when the book comes out. Now the next book to go through there is obviously going to go into the next link book stand because these guys only have one inventory slot. Let's go get a few more books. Alright, just came back from the overworld, got myself a few books here. So what I should now be able to do, and I have one more link book stand, so I'm going to have to pop that guy over here. Because I have just enough books for both. Ooh, I should have brought another transposer with me. Oh well, I'll deal with that later. I'll get the next transposer set up. But basically, what my plan is when I cross this threshold here, this laser beam, I want it to also activate this transposer automatically. I probably should have reversed where I had the sensor and the laser coming out and in, but maybe I'll reverse that in a bit. Not a big deal, like I said. But basically, once I cross it, like as soon as I go through the portal, boom, it should take the book out. Maybe on a 1-second delay to make sure I have enough time to get through the portal. And then out comes the overworld book, right? Cool. And then if I wanted to, I could activate another book by just flipping the lever on the appropriate spot. So let's put, some levers down. And we'll go with Crystal World, for example, here. And we'll go with My First Age. Remember that place? That was a cool place. What else do I have? I've got Helen Trees and I've got Mushroom Skylands is what I brought with me. So we'll put Helen Trees there and Mushroom Skylands there. Looking good. Don't know why the book is facing the wrong way. Not too interested. Maybe because of the transposer. I don't know. So let's go visit My First Age again. Dun dun. Of course, I'm not going to be using levers going forward, right? You guys are aware of that, I hope. Hey, look, My First Age is ready to go. Hopefully it's safe, but it should be. Ta-da! Traveling. Hey, it's nighttime. That's okay. So, bound to find some monsters soon, but there's my overworld linking book. So now I've got this neat little Nexus area where I can travel to different ages based on which transposer I activate. Which, as you guys probably have guessed, is probably going to be computer controlled. That would be smart. And cool. And if I head back to the Nexus now, because I haven't set up the automatic, reset thing yet, it's not going to be reset. Why don't I do that now real quick? Alright, so I'm back behind my wall here. I knocked off my wireless transmitter. Let's get things wired up properly. I'm going to run some wiring like this, and this will connect to my transmitter on frequency 22. Wasn't that it? Thought it was 22. Didn't I name that? Oh well. 22 it is. And then run some wiring like this. Let's see. I have to figure out exactly how I want this to work. I know I want there to be a state cell involved, right? And I need my sonic screwdriver. Something like that. Oh. See what happens? Should reopen now. Okay. Give me a second. I want to think this through. Yeah, I'm thinking I might want to bump this guy back one more. So frequency 22, you get moved back here. And then the state cell can be something like this. But I need to reorient him. There we go. That should cause it to do the following. When it receives a redstone signal, it should run for about a second. And a good way to test that, I guess, is what I just did by mistake a moment ago. Oh, right, because the thing's still there. There we go. 1 second. Do I want my red wire coming out here? Boom. Yeah, that's where I want it to be. Alright, so let's see how much this crystal doesn't mind redstone going up it. Let's do this. Oh, you're not going to like that at all, are you, Mr. Crystal? Oh, wow, Crystal can't accept... Okay, interesting. Well, I'm going to have to figure out another way to do this. I think I have an idea, though. In my orange bag, I should have at least a couple, I think. I don't. Alright, well, I can get a red alloy ingot for this. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost forgot how many I needed. This should work. There we go. That ought to do it. So now what should happen is, alright, all the lights are on. Let's assume that the overworld linking book is in the Nexus portal. Alright, when I step through the laser beam and break it, it'll turn off all the lights, and it'll also pull out the book automatically after about a 1 second delay. Cool? Totally. And, you know, let's put Crystal World in there. Okay? So again, about a 1 second delay. I could always bump it up to 2 or something, it doesn't really matter. But boom, 1 second delay, Crystal World gets pulled out. Now, of course, these things are going to open up, but that's fine. I think that works perfect, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that build. Alright, so for now, I'm going to send my overworld linking book over to the portal and give this guy like a full-on test. So I'm going to walk through the portal, and what that should do is cause the overworld linking book timer to start, and hopefully, by the time I get back to the Nexus, the timer's still going to be running. I guess we'll see if that works or not. Let's click through here. And if I'm right, the portal should be closed. All the lights I expect to be off. The red lasers I expect to be on. The door should be closed. It's all about the portal now. Dun 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 dun. Walking through. Portal's closed. Hooray! That means my little timer did exactly what he should have done. Sent the overworld linking book back. So this way, basically, I've got it set up so that every time I leave this room, the lights go off, the door closes, and the portal closes. Awesome. And then when I come in, and of course don't forget the red laser security system turns on, that prevents, you know, if any mobs spawn in here, it'll kill them. Like, for real, kill them. Awesome. And then when I walk in, it turns off the laser security system, all the lights turn on, the door opens, and then I'm going to probably have a computer. I'm thinking right about here. And that computer will be hooked up to control all the transposers. Basically, the transposers are going to pull back and, you know, pull out a world every time I activate a command on the computer. That's the plan so far. I guess we'll see if it changes. Unfortunately, it's about that time to wrap up. So hope you guys enjoyed episode 54 of Direwolf20's Let's Play. I'll be back next time to get that computer in place, and then we'll have a fully fledged Nexus. I've got some cool worlds already to travel to and play around with, but I have a few more in mind that I'd like to play around in as well. I'm also going to go work on my bees a little bit off camera. Alright guys, take it easy.